Hi students, welcome to Sreedhar'scce Anantapuramu YouTube channel and welcome to our session, Editorial Analysis session. Like what do we have in our session regularly? Like we start with the quote of the day, like for the motivation purpose, like we have root words, we are already in the alphabetical order C, and to memorize the vocabulary the best way, and phrasal expressions, especially keeping exam in point of view. Like next to vocabulary, editorial related, so comprises this phrasal verbs, idiomatic expressions, and also content vocabulary with parts of speech, and the analysis related to the editorial of the day, and the last but not the least, test of the day is also discussed. Right, without delaying, let's get to quote of the day. Like you also most people's favorite Virat Kohli, like he gave a statement. So though he is alive, like we can say these kind of people as legends, like living legends. Like Virat Kohli gave a statement, a quotation: self-belief and hard work will always earn you success. So his simple mantra, success mantra, we can say his simple success mantra is self-belief and hard work. So both should be there to get you success, to get you reach towards your success. So like if you don't have belief on you, like that you can do something, so you can't get a success. And if you don't do hard work, you can't get success. Both shall be accompanied with each other, and that is the only way to get success. Next, let's get to a phrasal expressions. Here you have got two, either X or Y, elect as. What is this either X or Y? Either this or that. Like most probably we are familiar with this. I will either buy a car or a bungalow. And I will either buy a car and a bungalow. Obviously wrong, and your mind accepts it. Like and shall not be used, because either or, either this or that, either these or those, something like we are pretty familiar with this. So no matter of maximum confusion with this. And the next one is elect as. To select someone by ballots or some other form of counting. He is elected as the new vice president of the society, not he is elected to be the new vice president. So elected generally takes as. Next, CRUC, the roots. Let's get to roots here. CRUC stands for cross. Cross can be this or this. Crucial, characteristic of or having the form of a cross. Characteristic of or having the, like very important, like we say very important. Crucifix, the cross itself as a Christian emblem. Excruciating, so intense as to cause great pain or anguish. Anguish means recently we got this word, a great distress, a pain or unhappiness. Excruciating means causing great unhappiness. Next, crypto. Crypto is related to hidden or secret related things. Crypto, like cryptic, like now and then you see in your WhatsApp when you are about to do a message to someone, there shows some your chart is encrypted, encoded into a secret code that it will not be visible to others, or it will be hidden from others. Cryptic, of hidden meaning. Cryptography, science of secret codes, is called as cryptography. Like let's get to editorial vocabulary. Sputnik, like you have got more content terms today. Sputnik V vaccine, what is this? It is a COVID-19 vaccine candidate developed by the Gamaleya Research Institute of Epidemiology and Microbiology and registered on 11th August 2020 by the Russian Ministry of Health. So all the people in the world waited for that moment, which was said by this Russian Ministry of Health, like on 11th August, it was registered that Sputnik V vaccine is related to COVID-19. Candidate vaccine or vaccine candidate means a potential vaccine prepared in the research and development, R&D. Again, don't mistake this particular R&D with roads and development centers, and it can be used in human clinical trials. So candidate vaccine or vaccine candidate means a potential vaccine which will be very effective, like prepared in the research and development. Next, midwife, who supports someone while creating or developing something. Midwifery, like who will be familiar with this term, like this nurses, staff nurse, head nurse, GNM, ANM. So those people are pretty familiar with this midwife. Midwife is generally a woman who is trying to assist women in childbirth. Yes, you got the point. Next, Russian Direct Investment Fund, RDIF, Russia's sovereign wealth fund established in 2011 by the Russian government to make investments in leading companies. Of course, it's a direct meaning. Pilots. So like pilot means we know that so the person who drives the plane, but here pilot, if it is used in verb sense, piloting means to test something, to trial or examine something. Here you have got 3 trials: phase 1 trial, phase 2 trial, phase 3 trial. I go in a ascending order. Phase 1 trial, trial of clinical testing. The vaccine is given to a small group of people to determine whether it is safe and to learn more about the immune response it provokes. So this is phase 1 trial. So phase 1 trial is related to, it's just examining a small group of people, like how this vaccination is providing this immunity. Next, let's get to phase 2 trial. In phase 2 trial, the vaccine is given to hundreds of people so scientists can learn more about its safety and correct doses. This is second stage or second phase. Next, phase 3 trial and the last trial. The vaccine is given to thousands of people to confirm its safety, including rare side effects and effectiveness. These trials involve a control group which is given a placebo. Placebo means a dummy medicine. I'd like to know whether it is clearly effective or not. So these are the 3 trials, and after the third trial, after the third phase, a vaccine will be completely potential to provide immune system towards a virus. Get out, so it's a phrasal verb, out with a preposition out. Succeed in releasing something, getting out. Incumbent on means necessary, compulsory, and moreover it takes on preposition. Scrupulously, religiously, unscrupulously is more often, like that word is used more often. Remember, unscrupulous. Scrupulously, consistently, constantly, regularly. Unscrupulously means not in an order, not showing respect towards a religion. Next, indigenously. Indigenously means in an indigenous manner. That means produced in a particular. Indigenous means related to a particular country or a group. Next, strain. So where did you find this strain? Means a variety, a particular type or kind is called as strain. Plasmid, a small circular piece of DNA that is different from the chromosomal DNA. Plasmids naturally exist in bacterial cells. Often the genes carried in plasmids provide bacteria with genetic advantages such as antibiotic resistance. Antibiotic resistance related bacteria is called as plasmid. Next, plasmid DNA vaccine means it involves the direct introduction into appropriate tissues of a plasmid containing the DNA sequence encoding antigens against which an immune response is sought. So cells directly produce the antigen, causing a protective immunological response. That is vaccine related accompanied with the plasmid. Cold chain, a temperature controlled supply chain. It is a kind of supply chain that specializes in the storage, transport and preservation of cargo that needs to be maintained at a specific temperature within an acceptable temperature range. It's particularly temperature controlled supply chain is called as cold chain. Inevitably, unavoidably, certainly, without any doubt, without any obstacle. Make one's way. It's a phrase. Proceed to a particular place is called as make one's way. Now let's get to the editorial of the day. Need for caution on Sputnik V vaccine, Russia's Sputnik V vaccine. So need for caution means we shall be very careful about what. India needs more than one vaccine, but all must come through their long gestation. So definitely India needs more than one vaccine because being a huge country. But the thing is, they have to come through a long gestation means that waiting period. Yes, Russia's candidate vaccine for COVID-19 appears to have found a midwife in India. Midwife means one who supports. The Russian Direct Investment Fund, which is piloting the Sputnik V vaccine, has announced a partnership with the Hyderabad-based Dr. Reddy's Laboratories to conduct a phase 3 trial or large multi-location human trials here. So, however, this is pretty familiar to everyone, that Russian Direct Investment Fund. So, it's testing the excuse me, this particular vaccine along with the partnership of India Hyderabad-based Dr. Reddy's Laboratories to conduct this particular phase 3 trial. That means last trial or large multi-location human trials here. Human trial is otherwise called as clinical trial. Well, the candidate vaccine developed by Russia's Gamaleya to prove safe and efficacious. The RDIF would supply 100 million doses through its partnership with Reddy's laboratories. So once this candidate vaccine proved itself as safe and efficacious, means effective in combating this virus, definitely this is going to supply, RDIF is going to supply 100 million doses through its partnership with Dr. Reddy's laboratory. However, there is no agreement to manufacture the vaccine here, unlike the deal between the Pune-based Serum Institute of India and the United Kingdom-based AstraZeneca for the Oxford University developed CHAdOx1 vaccine. So here there is no particular agreement related to the manufacture here. Unlike means, so there is an agreement between that two companies, that is Pune-based Serum Institute and UK-based AstraZeneca for the Oxford University. So manufacture agreement exists there. Sputnik V is being developed as a 2-dose vaccine on a human adenovirus vaccine platform. This is another virus which directly affects lungs. Several vaccines that are in development are also being deployed or similar platforms, and the evidence so far that is that none of these has been commercially approved for use in humans, though there is an experimental vaccine for Ebola. So however, several vaccines are in development throughout the world. They are deployed or used on similar platforms, and the evidence, the proof so far is none of these are commercially available or approved for the use in human beings, though there is an experimental vaccine for Ebola. So experimental vaccine means there may be a success or a failure. Results of phase 1 and phase 2 trials of the vaccine published in the Lancet suggest that the evidence so far that it has proven safe and efficacious enough to progress to the next stage of trials. So however, so as published in the Lancet article, that results of phase 1 and phase 2 trials are so proven safe and efficacious, so they can move to the next level of trials. So here next, controversially, Sputnik V has been granted a pre-approval by Russia's regulators even before phase 3 trials have been completed. Here the controversial thing is Sputnik V has been granted a pre-approval, so already by its regulators, means Russia's related regulators, before this phase 3 trials have been completed or accomplished. So there is immense political pressure, global and regulatory agencies to get a vaccine out at the earliest. So however, so this is a pretty clear thing that so there is an immense, a huge political pressure throughout the world to provide this vaccine at the earliest. Thus, it is incumbent on a company conducting such trials to be particularly vigilant, means careful that all good practices and necessary protocols are scrupulously followed, regularly followed. So it's a compulsorily incumbent. So what does that mean? We have got incumbent means necessary, compulsory. So we have got a necessary on a company conducting such trials to be particularly vigilant, means very careful that all good practices and necessary protocols are scrupulously, means very particularly, clearly, regularly followed. It is well acknowledged that 2/3 of the most common vaccines produced globally are made in India. So it is a well-known thing throughout the world that 2/3 of vaccines are produced only in India. The Serum Institute has committed to producing 100 million doses of its vaccine for India and other low and middle income countries at less than $3 per dose. So here the Serum Institute, by Pune-based Serum Institute, already committed to produce, and moreover it's a grammatical rule here, committed to, used to, and habituated to, addicted to. Like if to comes as a part and parcel of a verb, like a phrasal verb, it follows definitely ing form, that means gerund form here. Producing 100 million doses of its vaccine. After 2 we generally take produce, V1, right? But here I am using producing here. So the reason is committed to is a phrasal verb. Committed to producing 100 million doses of its vaccine for India and other low and middle income countries at less than $3 per dose. Reportedly half of these are for India, however, so we also belong to middle income countries, that's why. So half of these are related to our country. All in all, there seems to be a guarantee for only about 150 million doses for India, which given the country's population is minuscule. So however, so it seems to be a guarantee for only about 150 million doses, which given the countries, so considering the country's population is minuscule means not considerable. All of this scores does not account for the vaccines that are being indigenously developed in India. They don't account for vaccines, particularly indigenously means particularly developed within the country. Co-vaccine by Bharat Biotech based on a strain sourced from the Indian Council of Medical Research (ICMR) and ZYCoV CoV-D, the plasmid DNA vaccine being developed by Sreedhar'scce. So, however, these two can be considered indigenous to our country. In phase 2 trials now, both are being tested for their ability to produce a satisfactory immune response. So, however, these two are in the phase 2 levels. So, they are tested for their ability to produce satisfactory immune response. India has the capabilities for vaccine manufacture, cold chain storage and distribution to ensure access to citizens and the world in reasonable time, but it must not forget that vaccines must go through their inevitably long gestation to ensure that only those that are safe, efficacious make their way to the market. So here India has all the capabilities for vaccine manufacture. Second thing, cold chain storage means to store the vaccines at a particular given temperature, and distribution. All these capabilities India has to ensure access to citizens and the world even in reasonable time. But so India must not forget one thing, that is vaccines must go through their inevitably, unavoidably, definitely, compulsorily long gestation to ensure that only those that are safe and efficacious make their way, means they only get into the market. So these things you need to India has to consider. Right guys, and the last but not the least, let's get to the test of the day. Here the thing is, interesting thing is idiomatic expressions, fillers always generally takes yes forms. Answer is B. Answer is over, but let me explain. Grammatically, I cracked the answer. Answer is throws cold water, because Rekha is a third person singular and it generally takes a V1S. That's why I took throws cold water. So, what are these idiomatic expressions? If you don't know, and you can take the notes even. Halcyon days means happy days in past. Halcyon days means happy days in past. Throws cold water, like to discourage, to disappoint someone. Rekha always disappoints on her sister's ideas and tries to belittle. Belittle means it's a verb. Belittle means to underestimate someone, like to degrade someone. In the blues, very sad. Couch potato, like who prefers to watch TV continuously. Albatross around neck, so the thing which is making you to be like the obstacle which gets you away from success. Let's get to the next one. They have plus V3. You have got V3s in you have got V3s in 3 options: turn it down, caught at Arthur, driven home. Check the sentence. They thought that I would simply give up if my complaint had to go to court, but they'll soon realize that they have turn it down, meaningless. Caught at Arthur. Arthur means something very complicated thing. Caught at Arthur means a very dangerous person. So they have caught at Arthur is the most preferable one. The remaining cap in hand, take a bow. So what does that mean? Like in respect, beyond the pale, unacceptable, driven home. So emphasize. So all these can be the meanings of these. Next third one, the 3 can say insults and a dash. Exchange V2, and we need to have V2, so we have got V2 in only A. Why V2? And generally carries forward the tense. That's why option A is the answer. Blew their own trumpets means like boasting about self. 3 candidates exchanged insults and blew their own trumpets. Obviously correct. Old head on young soldiers, like wise beyond age. So we see some kids talk too much, like they know so much. So you can say old head on young soldiers means they are wise beyond their age. Wild goose chase, unnecessary chase, unnecessary research, like you know that it will end in a failure. A house of cards, full of something. Maiden speech, the very first speech. Maiden speech means our very first speech. 2 plus V1. Like almost we got all V1s. To dance with the company bigwigs, Srinivas allows them to use his apartment for their clandestine activities. Clandestine means illicit, secretly done illicit activities. Illicit means illegal, not acceptable by society. To dash the company bigwigs, bigwig means so superior, something like that. So to make them what, Srinivas allows them to use his apartment for their clandestine activities. So that means he is trying to get favor from them. That's why the answer is curry favor. Curry favor means like to support or to say okay, to say yes to someone, to get favor in back. Give oneself aids, to get irritation. End in smoke or end in fiasco, to end in failure. Bring to light. Bring to light means to reveal. Take to task means like to start doing the work. Take to task, take to task means to reprimand, to scold someone. It gives the meaning. And the last but not the least, yesterday is just. Here you can take so many. Is plus V3, V4, V4, adjective, and also noun. All these can be used. I'm glad Tihara started repaying the money she borrowed from me, but the $5 she gave me yesterday is just not this. Tenterhooks wrong, maiden speech wrong, beating around the bush. Answer is a drop in the bucket. So $5 she gave me yesterday is just a drop in the bucket, means the least. Bark is worse than his bite means like warning or threatening is worse than the action or the real crime. On tenterhooks, so very eager. Maiden speech already we know. Beating about the bush, talking indirectly. So there we end this class, guys. I hope you enjoy the class. More are yet to come. So who didn't subscribe to our channel and forward to your friends. And the last but not the least, like. Thank you for watching. Signing off.